All right, well, I got to get to bed soon, but I need to pump this out. And this is real, guys. There are some first reactions now. Can we really verify they saw it? Don't know. So this is from Society of the Ghostface on Reddit, and it's positive. The person is like, it was a really good film. Do I believe them? No. But according to them, by being so focused on Sydney, they saw a very good Scream film. Now, what I find intriguing, and I'll leave the major spoiler speculations down the road, so be forewarned. The person is saying, oh, and that ending, can't talk about it. So how true is this? Well, we in the States, so again, I get when people subscribe or look at my videos, they're not necessarily in the US. So the way things are released is very weird. I know Australia gets some stuff really early, sometimes even a week early. So yes, we have to wait until Thursday at least, but other places do get it early. Clearly, people have seen early versions of Scream 7 because I've seen things that have been leaked. It's got everything. Yes, they have to be changed and right. You got to alter a lot to keep not get a copyright strike, but it's there with the music and everything. And I was like, I saw clearly the opening of Scream 7. Literally, I just saw it. I was like, whoa, because the music is so specific, and it's not from the trailers. So this is music specific to the film. So clearly some things have really been leaked. People have gotten access to the early versions. And now that we're so close to release, this presumably is, what are the latest versions that they have? So it could be still something they're going to modify at the last minute, but there we go. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to be getting a finalized version soon. So what to make of it? So these are positive reactions so far. So what to make of it? They're not really answering the question about Stu. I think they're hinting with Stu. But we'll keep off Stu for the moment. Not to even engagement or whatever. I just want to get to the first reactions and what do they really mean? Because it's funny. Someone in the Reddit said, oh yeah, me and my team saw it. Presumably they mean, right? Because Hollywood professionals get to see these things early, right? Because I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but due to awards or promotion or marketing, you have to share the film. You can't keep it totally secret. So things get leaked all the time because you can't really hold on to it. It's the nature of the beast. So let's assume good faith. This person and the other people saw it. He said, or she said, mixed reaction, which I think is going to be much closer to the truth. So why do I think this is not going to be good? Well, if the leaks are true, the way that they get to the killers is going to be kind of lame. Now, this is Scream. We've had this problem when the killers are motivated. And granted, even the early ones were pretty bat crazy, but they were crazy for a reason, or they were still rooted in a reality. And again, it's hard to say when it really got loopy, but I'd have to say after part 3, it started to get really silly, right? So to some degree, it's hard to care because we know the Ghostface Killer, Miracle, is a long-lost relative, an obsessed fan. They've gone through the similar tropes over and over and over again. So it's hard to do anything really new. So, right, it has a certain stable formula or structure. If you're not into the Scream films, it can be frustrating, but be that as it may. But if this is true with the leaks, the structure here is they're not really doing that much, which I found shocking given the stakes are high here because I think this thing will make enough money. Will it make bazillions? No. I think it'll have a good opening, solid, and then it's going to really collapse because I think a lot of people are going to be really confused. So the Stu people are going to get really angry. You didn't bring back Stu, which I hope they're going to change their minds, but it looks like they're not going to bring him back. And other people are going to be probably stunned at the level of humor. And granted, and I'm on record, I don't like Scream 6 because of this reason as well. Too many jokes in the wrong places. So it's just going to feel a little bit off. But to be positive, it does seem there's consistency with the bloodiness. The brutality of the kills in part 6 was really shocking. I was shocked at how vicious the killings were. I'm like, wow. Okay, so that aspect, and again, a certain part of the fandom, that's all they want. They just want good kills, a good time, just have Ghostface be a credible threat for a while, and then, defeat them. Defeat him, her, or whoever the group is. So be it. But I've always wanted the Scream films to be a little bit more thematically, symbolically, even politically, which is ironic now, to do something a little bit more. And, right, I don't want to, like, deify Wes Craven, but Wes Craven was able to kind of do it all very seamlessly. That's why people really love him so much, and I agree. Like, he was able to master everything pretty well. Not everything Wes did was golden, but he was pretty talented at weaving everything pretty carefully together. This feels like such a cheap version of Scream that you're like, that's it. That is all they did. And given where the franchise and the series is now, I'm like, wow, that just is very underwhelming. But now let's get to what this review was hinting at. So, super warning, we're going to get into Stu, and we may be spoiling at least a big portion of the movie. So, be forewarned. Okay, so there's a lot of speculation that, which again, having seen the beginning of Scream, I don't think is credible anymore, but so there are either two ways to do this. One, the beginning with the Airbnb thing, that's at the very end. And that's when Stu will reveal himself. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the opening that they've shown is the opening they're going to stick with. However, they are saying something really crazy happens at the very end. And again, we'll have to spoil the ending, which is kind of just a generic ending. We don't have to go into the details, but basically Jessica reveals herself, the Ghostface reveal themselves, and, Sidney saves the day, basically. And this is leaked, guys. There's an actual leaked photo. I'm not going to do it here. I'll probably do it maybe a day before the film is released because it's out there. I'm really shocked this got out there, but there's a photo with the survivors, and I'll tell you who it is. It's Gail, and the twins are getting interviewed at the very end. Now, why do I know, or how do I know this is at the very end? Well, it could be in the middle, but there's a scene, which is in all the trailers. You can see all the trailers. They show the twins getting attacked. And in one scene, right, the guy is, like, you don't see it, but yeah, he got stabbed. So you can see that they're injured. Just from the photo, they've been injured. So head scratching. This has to be at the end when the thread is over. So presumably Gail is doing some final interviews with twins and her and then Sidney. So that's the ending. Or is it? So if they have not switched out the beginning Airbnb with the house on fire, which is a great scene, by the way, it's a brilliant idea, then that would mean that Stu comes in afterward. How? Don't know. And the reaction does not tell us. So presumably, which again, I don't think this is a good idea. Most of the film, we're getting fake Stu, fake AI, not real Stu at all. Obviously, Matthew probably did do the voice and, some body acting, whatever. But actual real Matthew Lillard, real Stu is going to be at the very, very end. Now, is that going to be enough to save the film? I don't think so. I think a lot of fans are actually going to get really angry that we spent most of the film with the not real Stu, and then, but Stu is real at the very, very end. And, like, you're going to set up the next film. And you're like, well, then what's the point of this chapter then? I understand we spend time with Sidney, we spend time with the daughter, we have more with Gail, we have more with the twins, but it feels phony, right? It feels like we're needlessly stretching out the story to manufacture a sequel, which Scream 1 did not do that. Scream 2 did not do that. Even Scream 3. Like, these were mostly complete stories. They do give you hints of a bigger story, but they don't force you to be like, oh, well, you got to see this one to see the next chapter. I mean, as a matter of fact, this feels like a chapter you can completely skip because none of the important people are harmed. They're not in danger. Now, will this affect the box office? No, because, Scream 6 was not that good. there were a lot of great things in it. There were great scenes, but as a movie as a whole, it was kind of weak. It made the most money. It's one of the most profitable Screams. So there you go. But I think as bad as Scream 6 was, at least they gave you a promise of a better film. Like they did set up a better film, but due to the politics, they didn't do that. So, that's to say that even when the quality of the film is not that good, if the fan base really loves it, it will have decent box office. But I don't know. I think a lot of the fandom is going to be really stunned at how cheap and cynical a lot of decisions are, and going to be like, it's going to produce a lot of head scratching. I'll say that much. But again, this review and a lot of similar reviews are saying Stu is alive. But where and when, they don't confirm. I would assume the Elvis. He will be saved for the very, very end. So, again, it's better than nothing, but I think that's not the right route, especially now that the fandom is so divided. I think it would have been it would have still been a difficult decision, or doing it would have been really hard, especially with the leaks. Like, there's no way you would not notice Matthew Lillard being on set, right? Something would get out, so they're kind of stuck. I understand that, but I think that would have been a better idea. Risk it being leaked than just doing it in this kind of cheap snake fashion, just put it in at the very end, is like, it's just going to really just divide people further. But there we go. But the first reactions are positive, but there's still a lot of like, yeah, but, and also too, the first people who see the film will probably be biased to be positive. I think when it's all said and done, the more professional critics see it, it's going to get a very mixed grade. And that's where we are with Scream 7. Thanks for listening. Please stay safe.